There have been some beautiful skies this week. From glorious sunrises to brilliant rainbows and even a meteor shower, we have seen the words of Psalm 19 verse 1 in high definition. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. As we observe the vastness of the skies, the expanse of the oceans, the height of the mountains, and the intricacy of the flowers, we often find ourselves drawn to the reality of how small we are and how huge God is. It is through experiencing creation that many of us experience the Creator. And what better time to consider the creation and the Creator than during harvest. Harvest focuses our mind on giving thanks for the physical provision that God gives to sustain us and fill us with life. For most of us, the struggle to feed ourselves doesn't come from working the land, but working the self-scan machines at the supermarkets. As we have seemingly distanced ourselves from the natural world, we can forget about our reliance upon it. But actually, statistics show that over the last decade, there's been a notable increase in people spending time in the outdoors, enjoying the natural environment. Being in the natural world boosts our physical, mental, and social well-being and opens our hearts to the one who created it. There is much joy found in and through our planet, but what happens when it goes wrong? One of the most exciting purchases I made during lockdown, or actually my mum and dad made for me, was a new duvet cover. For me, it was a long wished for duvet cover with a very artistic map of the world on it, as seen behind me. There are koala bears in Australia, panda bears in China, brown bears in Russia, and penguins in the Arctic. Now, the natural world enthusiasts amongst you might be able to spot the error. Penguins don't live in the Arctic. They, in fact, are almost exclusively found in the southern hemisphere. Pretty as it is, the penguins are in the wrong place on my duvet cover. Now, I can deal with that. But what our world will not be able to deal with is what happens when penguins and koalas and pandas and brown bears are forced to move where they live because of humanity's impact on our climate. In recent weeks, amidst the constant distressing news regarding COVID, there have been voices beneath the headlines speaking up about a pandemic that began long before COVID and will continue long after it. Sir David Attenborough, Prince William and Greta Thunberg are the faces of an increasing global awareness about the devastation of environmental destruction and climate change. I myself studied environmental geography at university. I've watched many hours of documentaries about the crisis in our natural world. I could quote you many statistics about this stark situation, but I'll let you Google that for yourselves. Instead, I want to reflect on why any of it matters to us and what any of it has to do with our relationship with God. I'm not a parent, but an increasing number of my friends now have children, and I've noticed an increasing number of fridges covered in artwork. These are no Monets or Picassos. This is the artwork of their children. There are people with 3 heads, cars with no wheels, dogs with 6 tails, and seeming scribbles that are, well, I don't know what. But with pride and care, parents stick these creations to their fridge, not out of duty, well, not always, not because they are magnificent works of art, but simply because they love the one who created them. What do we do with the handiwork, with the creator of the one that we love. That actually is a magnificent work of art. Right at the very start of the Bible, we read, "In the beginning, God created." An essential part of God's identity is that of creator. So when we choose to be destructors of planet Earth through overconsumption, pollution and waste, we go against the very nature of God. If your child or grandchild brought you home a picture they had drawn, the last thing you'd do is tear it up in front of them. But sometimes our actions and our attitudes do exactly that to God. In the beginning, God created our world. Yes, because he is a creator God. Yes, for his pleasure. But yes, to bring us life. That coffee you are drinking right now comes from roasted coffee beans, the seeds of berries from the coffea shrub. Those roast potatoes you will enjoy for your Sunday lunch come from, well, potatoes, planted and grown and harvested in fields across the world, although originating in the Andes about 6 millennium BC apparently. And that chocolate bar you will eat this afternoon comes from a cacao bean, from the cacao pod, from the cacao tree. What is great about thinking about these things in this way is you discover that coffee and chocolate and cake must actually be part of our 5 a day. Well, kind of. But God has given us the resources of earth to bring life. But as Psalm 24 verse 1 says, the earth belongs to God. Everything in all the world is his. We are stewards of it, not owners. God has entrusted into our hands his creation for us to nurture, to protect and to sustain. Our relationship with our planet tells of our relationship with God, but it also tells of our relationship with others. As part of my degree, I wrote a dissertation, something along the lines of what is the impact of climate change on the people of sub-Saharan Africa. I remember little of what I wrote, but I do know that the negative impact of climate change damages most those who are poor and disadvantaged. When we are compliant in the emissions of greenhouse gases, cutting down of trees and plastic pollution, we are compliant in vulnerable communities facing increased natural disasters, such as flooding and droughts. Love others. That is what Jesus commands us to do. We cannot love our global neighbour whilst we pollute our atmosphere, fill our seas with plastic and byproducts which demand deforestation. God created humanity to live in harmony with the natural world. As a result of the fall and sin entering the world, we are far from singing a harmonious song. But it doesn't have to be this way. As in all things, God offers us the hope of restoration and redemption. Isaiah 11 verses 6 to 9 in the Voice paraphrase says this: "A day will come when the wolf will live peacefully beside the wobbly-kneed lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat. The calf and yearling, newborn and slow, will rest secure with the lion, and a little child will tend them all. Bears will graze with the cows they used to attack, even their young will rest together, and the lion will eat hay like gentle oxen. Neither will a baby who plays next to a cobra's hole, nor a toddler who sticks his hand into a nest of vipers suffer harm. All my holy mountain will be free of anything hurtful or destructive. For as the waters fill the sea, the entire earth will be filled with the knowledge of the eternal." In this poetic imagery, we see an incredible picture of animals coexisting in ways they normally don't. This is the world recreated where big and small can live together without fear of death and destruction, and humanity is right there in the midst of it. I recently saw Sir David Attenborough's film, A Life on Our Planet. Sir David outlined how our natural world has taken a massive hit during his lifetime, but he also outlines how we can play our part in restoring hope. When asked what one thing we could do to make a difference, Attenborough's answer was, don't waste. Don't waste anything. Don't waste electricity, don't waste food, don't waste power, don't waste time. We are at a pivotal moment in history, both in terms of the coronavirus crisis and the ongoing crisis in our natural world. The call not to waste time means to act now to stop our climate crisis through reducing, recycling and reusing. But we also find ourselves at a time where many people have more time on their hands than ever before. We can choose to view this time as time wasted and lost forever. Or we can open our eyes and ears to what God is saying to us. We can reclaim this enforced slowing down to deepen our relationship with the Creator and consider our relationship with His creation. It is not the latest fashionable fad or the responsibility of a few. It is for all of us to play our part in protecting and preserving the life that God gives to our world. As we consider our part in God's glorious creation this harvest time, I leave with you the words of a song by Emma Piers entitled, Father Creator. I see the stars hanging in the sky, and I stand in wonder asking why, that you should even notice me, yet you know every hair on my head. All creation sings to serve your praise and proclaim you are God. Father Creator, thank you for saving me. Lord of the universe, I'm kneeling before you now to confess you are Lord over me. I see the mountains standing strong and tall, and I stand amazed that you made them all. Just by your word you created the earth, yet you choose to speak to me. Father Creator, thank you for saving me. God bless you.